Turning now to the Middle East, explosions rattled Tehran as Israel's onslaught enters its seventh night. Paul Hunter has the fears that Israel's latest war has only just begun, fears fanned by none other than the U.S. president.
For U.S. President Donald Trump, on a day they installed on his directive a pair of brand new giant flagpoles outside the White House, the big question: will he or won't he involve U.S. forces in any strike against Iranian nuclear facilities?
I may do it, I may not do it. I mean, nobody knows what I'm going to do.
As Iranian missiles continued to target Tel Aviv, while Israeli weaponry kept at it in Tehran, a warning from Iran's supreme leader after Trump's demand for unconditional surrender. Ayatollah Khamenei said his country surrenders to no one, adding, if Trump orders a U.S. strike, the damage to America will be irreparable. Added Iran's deputy foreign minister,
nobody can threaten Iranians. They should not dare to threaten Iran. We will do whatever necessary.
Meanwhile, signals mount that something seems imminent, with the USS Gerald R. Ford, the largest carrier in the U.S. Navy, now believed headed to the Mediterranean.
Senator, thank you very much for spending the time to have this conversation.
It's good to be with you.
But back in the U.S., a spectacle of political battling underlining the split on this among Trump backers. Conservative talk show host Tucker Carlson, who opposes U.S. involvement, and Texas Republican Senator Ted Cruz, who supports it, taking on each other in a bizarre podcast back and forth.
You don't know anything about Iran. So
okay, I am not the Tucker Carlson expert on Iran.
You're a senator who's calling for the overthrow of the government.
You're the one who
don't know anything about the country.
No, you don't know anything about the country. You're the one.
And so back to Trump. And again, the question: has he made a final decision on this?
But I haven't made a final. I like to make the final decision 1 second before it's due, because things change.
The president then moving on to the Situation Room to meet with his security team on this, Erica, but no word on any outcome from it.
And Paul, Trump hinted in that clip that things could change. Any sense what he might mean by that?
Well, he's often suggested this week that it's now past time for Iran to negotiate its way out of this. But today he also suggests that he's invited Iran to the White House. And there's some reporting that Iran indeed might be open to such talks. So there's lots in play, but none of it easy to nail down. All of that as Tehran remains, at least publicly, defiant. Erica.
All right, thanks for this. Paul Hunter in Washington. France and China say they are taking steps to help their citizens escape Israel and Iran. It comes after the European Union's top diplomat announced it was working with some member countries to help get their citizens out. The Canadian government says it is monitoring the situation and is urging Canadians in the region to register with Global Affairs. The spiraling war Israel has launched with Iran has pulled global attention from Israel's war in Gaza. But Gazans still face the daily threat of destruction and famine. And as Margaret Evans shows us, they're still dying.
Ghostly images of journeys laced with peril. Gazans desperate to feed their families, risking increasingly dangerous treks to aid centers like this one along Gaza's Netzarim corridor. Thank God that I got through, says Mohammed Abu Jiab, despite the danger. That was before Israeli troops reportedly opened fire on the crowds, killing 11 people. The military says it fired warning shots and wasn't aware of injuries. It also accuses Hamas of trying to loot the sites. The UN says more than 400 Palestinians have been killed by gunfire or shelling near aid points since the end of May, when a controversial group was brought in by Israel to replace UN agencies. Some families who wait for sons or fathers to come home with food eventually find them at a hospital morgue. At night, Gazans can see the missiles flying back and forth between Israel and Iran in the skies overhead, taking with them much of the world's attention.
Nobody's talking about the war in Gaza. Nobody's talking about hostages.
Ksenia Svetlova is an analyst and a former member of the Israeli Knesset.
Whether this is the intentional outcome or something that is a byproduct of this war, but this is definitely the consequence.
Svetlova says it has also boosted the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's domestic standing and potentially amongst Western nations deeply troubled by Israel's actions in Gaza, but that also view Iran as a threat to international security. In Gaza, many will tell you they're already used to their plight being ignored by the outside world, even as it worsens day by day. The only thing they have left to hold on to, they say, is their grief. Margaret Evans, CBC News, Jerusalem.
CBC News has learned Ryan Wedding, Canada's Olympian turned drug fugitive, may be linked to a massive cocaine bust near Toronto. Thomas Dagla has exclusive new information on the FBI's most wanted Canadian.
When you see what's here before you today, it's impressive.
Showing off what they describe as nearly $50 million worth of cocaine, Peel Regional Police announced their biggest drug seizure ever. Now, a CBC News investigation finds that massive bust,
Ryan Wedding to the line,
may be linked to former Olympic snowboarder turned alleged crime boss Ryan Wedding, one of the FBI's 10 most wanted fugitives. He's accused of running a murderous drug trafficking network.
The likelihood of what's happening here in Peel being traced back to an organization like that is very high.
What's the likelihood that network's still active in your region?
Very likely.
Whoa.
Last fall came a flurry of arrests from this Florida mansion to Colombia and Canada, all in hopes of dismantling Wedding's alleged criminal network. But in court documents we obtained, U.S. prosecutors say Wedding continues to traffic drugs while in hiding.
There certainly are elements of his network that remain in place, but I couldn't say much more than that at this time because of multiple ongoing investigations.
Peel police arrested these men in connection with that record cocaine haul moved across the U.S. border, mirroring the smuggling routes linked to Wedding. His accomplices stand accused of concealing cocaine bricks in secret truck compartments.
Cocaine is not manufactured in Canada. It can only come from outside of Canada, predominantly through the Mexican cartel and coming across the border.
Wedding is believed to be living in Mexico under cartel protection. The U.S. State Department is offering $10 million for information leading to his arrest.
Tips are always coming in.
And sending this message.
Ryan, we're getting tips every day. People are calling in. So you're next, buddy.
Thomas Dagg, CBC News, Toronto.
Toronto police have announced 20 arrests linked to a violent turf war in the towing industry.
As a result of our investigation, acts of violence on a mass scale were deterred and prevented.
10 of those arrested are charged with multiple counts of conspiracy to commit murder. Investigators also released video of alleged arsons. Police say the violence is connected to an alleged battle to control the tow truck industry in the region. We have new video of the dangerous incidents happening on Canadian roads every day. Lisa Shing shows us what pedestrians and cyclists are facing and the calls to make our streets safer.
These dangerous close calls caught on camera happen every day at intersections across Canada, according to a new study.
Every time you walk on downtown, you're taking a big risk.
They tend to turn even when it's the signal to go for pedestrians.
Have you had any near misses at intersections?
Yes, a few times.
What was your reaction?
Like, almost peed my pants.
Now there's data to back up the anecdote. The Canadian Automobile Association commissioned a study that used cameras at 20 intersections in cities across the country, recording more than 600,000 incidents over 7 months, where a pedestrian or cyclist was almost hit. Most were cars making a right turn.
Based on the near misses that we collected, over one potentially fatal near miss per day per intersection happens here in Canada.
So you might think the more people and cars in a city, the higher the likelihood of a close call. Traffic volume is a factor, but there are bigger considerations.
It's about how we build and design our streets and the types of vehicles that we drive. Bigger vehicles are more dangerous and more likely to hurt people. They take up more space on the road.
The study recommends more dedicated left turn lanes, more advanced green lights, and allowing pedestrians to start crossing before vehicles.
These are all lights.
Then there's the human factor.
I think people are busy. Toronto's especially a very kind of bit of a rat racey city. Everyone's got somewhere to be.
Have you had any near misses with cyclists, pedestrians?
I don't necessarily find that they're always careful. Like, they don't wear helmets, they don't always pay attention to stopping when they should.
The CAA hopes this kind of data will drive municipalities to make improvements faster to prevent injuries and deaths. Lisa Shing, CBC News, Toronto.
The Prime Minister's office says Mark Carney will travel to Europe later this week to attend summits on NATO and Canada-EU relations. Carney is expected to leave Sunday for Brussels, then travel to The Hague. His office says the meetings aim to deepen the Canada-EU relationship across all sectors. Another relationship Canada is pushing ahead with is renewed diplomatic ties with India. But there are warnings tonight about what it could cost. As Evan Dyer explains, some in the Sikh community have safety concerns.
It was all smiles as Prime Minister Mark Carney greeted India's Narendra Modi at the G7 in Kananaskis. Nothing to indicate that one of the two leads a government the RCMP says is behind a campaign of violence in the other's country, a warning Maoris first said months ago.
The team has learned a significant amount of information about the breadth and depth of criminal activity orchestrated by agents of the Government of India.
In Surrey, BC, members of the Sikh community say they've been extorted by members of the Lawrence Bishnoi gang of India, which the Maoris say has acted as a proxy for the Indian government. In Mississauga, Ontario, the Bishnoi gang also claimed the recent murder of Sikh businessman Harjit Singh Dada, shot outside his office after extortion demands.
Still, they are getting extortion calls. Still, they are getting threatening letters. So they are thinking that Canadian government is more focusing on economy than public safety.
Carney and Modi signaled they want to work towards the full restoration of normal relations. BC Premier David Eby says he's writing to the Prime Minister to ask that the Bishnois be listed as a terrorist organization.
This is an issue of huge concern in the community there, particularly the South Asian community. It's an issue of concern in Alberta and Ontario as well.
The federal response is we'll see.
And of course, we've had difficult conversations with the Indian government, and that will continue.
I think that this government does mean business, and I think that Mark Carney will, whenever there's any indication that they're stepping out of line, we've got the capacity now through CSIS, the RCMP, and other intelligence agencies to basically call them out.
Former diplomat Robertson says he believes Carney and Modi would have discussed these matters even if no public commitments were made, and that the overall relationship with India is too important to be derailed over one issue. Canada's Sikhs are just hoping that they are not the collateral in that new partnership. Evan Dyer, CBC News, Ottawa.
6 days after the catastrophic crash of a Boeing 787 in India, the lone survivor mourned the death of his brother, who was also on the plane. Vishwash Kumar Ramesh helped lay his brother to rest at a funeral in Western India. The scars of his ordeal were impossible to miss. Of the 242 people aboard, he alone escaped death. About 30 people on the ground were also killed last week when the plane plunged into the city below shortly after takeoff. Back in Canada, most provinces are still banning American alcohol, and that's having a major impact on the wine industry.
I like seeing a little Canadian sticker on all my products now.
The local benefits of this cross-border trade war. A valuable painting resurfaces after a decade.
I have a wonderful surprise for you.
How the owner's responding to the ongoing mystery. And a memorable union at an Ontario farm.
I now pronounce the two of you cow and bull. You may lick noses.
We're back in 2. This plume in eastern Indonesia reaches 10 kilometers into the sky from a volcano that's been spewing ash and gravel for 2 days now, forcing evacuations and canceled flights. The mushroom-shaped cloud that formed today was visible from 15 kilometers away. Wine sales are down across Canada. Fewer bottles are being uncorked, and U.S. exporters are feeling the pinch. But as Nisha Patel reports, there's a reason to raise a glass. Canadian wines are defying the trend.
Forget California reds, Canadian shoppers are making a switch.
Now that the American wines are off the shelves, I'm finding myself in the Ontario section a little bit more.
U.S. wine imports fell more than 90% in April as provincial governments took American products off store shelves in the face of the trade war.
Buy local is very real. We're seeing it in Nova Scotia. We're seeing it in British Columbia.
The boycott is giving Canadian producers a boost. The Liquor Control Board of Ontario says sales of wine made with Ontario grapes have jumped more than 60%.
I like seeing a little Canadian sticker on all my products now.
I think we're just more willing to put money back into our own economy.
So it's Riesling, Chardonnay, and Pinot.
That's keeping spirits high at Flat Rock Cellars, which is having one of its best sales years ever.
They've gone up, probably 30, 40, 50% over the months since the tariffs kicked in.
They released their awards.
Manager Jacob Glantz says he also expects the winery to get a boost from tourists this summer.
And they're realizing, holy moly, we actually make some really great world-class wines here in Ontario, and they might not go back.
Ontario plans to continue its ban, though Alberta and Saskatchewan say they will start selling American booze again. Wine sellers hope the change in buying behavior is permanent.
I've heard from people that, they really want to stick with local wine even after. So I think regardless of what kind of happens in the future, I don't think we're going back to the way things were.
Provincial governments are also working with Ottawa, trying to break down interprovincial trade barriers to make it easier for producers to sell their wines across the country. Nisha Patel, CBC News, Toronto.
A painting that disappeared a decade ago is heading back to its owner.
You're not going to believe it, but the painting has been found.
Where the valuable piece of art resurfaced. Plus, a Titan submersible passenger on their alarming experience aboard the vessel.
Everyone sat up like, what was that?
And more than 1 year into a state of emergency, hope wears thin in Belleville, Ontario.
The bottom line is you're kind of putting Band-Aids over bullet holes.
The National breaks down the stories shaping our world next. A warm greeting for King Charles and Queen Camilla at the Royal Ascot. The annual week-long event features the world's best racehorses. Catherine, the Princess of Wales, was supposed to attend but cancelled at the last minute. Sources have reportedly said Kate is balancing her return to public engagements after her cancer treatment. There's a new twist tonight in a mystery involving a missing painting believed to be by one of Canada's greatest artists. As Sarah Morelli shows us in the CBC News investigation, the artwork has reappeared, but the saga is far from over.
So I have a wonderful surprise for you, Farah. This is Dr. Murray's Tom Thompson painting that we have recovered.
A glimpse of a painting so few have seen in real life, and until just a few weeks ago, was missing.
We were very, very pleased that it had been recovered.
In January, CBC News first investigated the disappearance of the roughly 8x12 painting, a depiction of Tea Lake Dam in Ontario's Algonquin Park. It's believed to be an unsigned painting by renowned Canadian artist Tom Thompson. Its owner, Michael Murray, says in 2015 he arranged for it to be sold at Toronto's Waddington's auctioneers and appraisers. After they told him the painting wasn't there, he filed an $11 million lawsuit. Court documents show the auction house initially denied ever having it. That is, until last month.
Mr. Bookman called me and said, you're not going to believe it, but the painting has been found. It's at Waddington's. And it was almost disbelief.
So where has the painting been since 2015? A lawyer from Waddington's told us they can't comment because the matter is before the courts. Murray's lawyer says all he was told was that the painting was found in a climate-controlled storeroom in the facility.
We would always leave from
Though now found, Bookman says they're still moving ahead with the lawsuit, seeking damages for the years the painting was missing.
So 10 years it's been gone.
Murray says while he's relieved it's back, he still has many questions.
There is an interest on my side to kind of understand, how it could be missing for 10 years and then all of a sudden show up.
A mystery Murray acknowledges he may never unravel.
There's a lot of similarities between that mystery and, Tom Thompson's mysterious passing.
For now, he's looking to find a buyer for a painting with a backstory more colorful than the pigments on the canvas. Farah Morali, CBC News, Toronto.
Now it's time to break down the news shaping our world. 2 years after the OceanGate Titan submersible tragedy, a look at the moment the sub's fate was sealed.
Everyone that stepped on board the Titan after Dive 80 was risking their life.
Key details the investigation has revealed. But first,
You're kind of putting Band-Aids over bullet holes.
revisiting an Ontario city still in crisis, despite millions of dollars spent to tackle homelessness and toxic drugs.
It's not going to get any better, and that's what scares me.
More than a year after the city of Belleville declared a state of emergency, Omar DeBaggy Pacheco returns to find out if the situation on the streets is better or worse.
She has the bag on.
You know why you're under arrest?
They're seeing all the crappy ends of homelessness.
You're kind of putting Band-Aids over bullet holes.
I'm still out here.
Some of the people that were alive last year have passed away.
We don't need the bullshit and drama. We're already suffering enough.
Okay, what are we supposed to do? Where do we turn?
It's the worst social issue that we're going to face in our lifetime, and it's not going to get any better, and that's what scares me.
Belleville, Ontario. Last time we were here, the city was under a state of emergency. It still is, but the toxic batch of drugs that had dozens of people overdosing in a matter of hours, that's gone. The number of people, though, living on the streets and the problems that go with that has only gone up. And despite millions of dollars being put into a potential solution, the people at the heart of this crisis say things have only gone from bad to worse. The big change downtown, a newly built community policing hub, and the same officer who showed us just how bad things had gotten last time. Hey, Aaron.
Hey,
how's it going, man? Good. My producer Ryan and I check out downtown. Businesses here used to complain about overdoses, break-ins, and campouts. Now they've got a face to turn to, but it's nowhere near the magic pill the city promised more than a year ago.
You can throw some mental health workers out on the street. You can throw cops out on the road to try and address these things, but the bottom line is you're kind of putting Band-Aids over bullet holes. Kind of becomes a lot of just, like I said, whack-a-mole, where you're just going from encampment to encampment, giving people notice, moving people along.
Police, frontline workers, social services agencies, patching up holes, checking in on people, and sometimes having to be the ones that kick them out.
Hey.
Hello, is it please?
You guys good in there or what?
That's Mel.
So you've been quiet, haven't got any complaints from the public, but the property owner called.
Okay. We met her on our last visit here. Did not expect to see her again.
I just woke up, so.
Sorry to be your harsh wake-up call. Last year, about 160 people in this region were homeless. Now, there are almost 300. Have they gotten better or worse?
No, they've gotten worse. For sure, they've gotten worse. We can't find a place to stay anywhere. Like it doesn't matter how. Like I've moved. This will be the 4th time in less than 6 weeks. And I have usually 8 to 10 people with me. That are just misfits or people that, need someone to have a little bit of order in their life. There's no place for us to go to the bathroom out here. Yeah. Nobody puts up, I asked them to put in outhouses.
So where do you go?
People, we're not allowed to go into businesses.
Yeah.
So people find spots. That's why people don't want us here, is because they're seeing all the crappy ends of homelessness. One of the most surprising things that we found when we first got here, within the first few hours, we ran into the same people that we had long conversations with last time we were here. And in the interim, they told us they found housing, couldn't keep it, and now they're right back where they started.
I did have a place to stay at one point, and due to just unforeseen circumstances, I'm right back out on the street because, you want to go out, you want to still help your friends, and not move them in, but, you know, bring them in and let them have a shower, things like that. And some people just flip out.
Erin's seen it play out firsthand. One person gets a place, friends with addictions move in come the dealers with the guns and the drugs.
Yeah, of course you're gonna get the eviction notice posted on your door. No one wants that nonsense next to them.
And so the same people end up back on the streets.
Hey, how are ya? Brian, I think you talked to Brian last time you were in town.
Brian, yeah, how are you? Hey, good to see you, man. Brian is surviving. What happened to your hand? I didn't hear.
I was trying to keep warm outside one night and I had a blowtorch going. I knocked it over and I wasn't paying attention and the flame hit my hand, burnt it.
He did get his own place for a short while, and then he ended up back on the street again. And in all that time since our last visit, life just keeps happening.
My girlfriend, she's pregnant, so.
Oh, wow. Okay. Here in Belleville?
Yeah.
Okay, how are you handling that?
I'm excited, but at the same time, I'm kind of bummed out because, well, here I am on the streets, trying to push harder than ever to get a place and get work and everything again.
How's she holding up?
Stressed, because, like, she's got a place to lay her head at night. Oh. But I'm still out here, and we just want to get a place together and start settling down.
Pregnancy, with or without a place to stay, on or off drugs, it happens. And it was a theme that kept coming up.
Being out here, every single one of us has one of these stories.
Olivia's story, pregnant at a young age, struggling with trauma, the help she got, it didn't work.
It ended up causing me to put my kids in temporary care to send them with their father, and it's been 2 years. And the whole picture perfect of, you know, being at home with your kids is gone for me, and I won't get that back ever the way I should have been able to have it, because the resources weren't there when I started screaming out for help.
The plan last year was to have a 24/7 drop-in center up and running by now. This is how we left it, and this is how we found it. The city spent $3 million to buy and fix the building, but it wasn't structurally sound. So now the price tag is up to $5 million from the city and another $3.5 million from Health Canada. The mayor hopes it'll be up and running before 2026. So in the meantime, there's this.
So this is the new hub.
A temporary drop-in center called The Bridge.
Hey, thanks so much for doing this. Really
Ashley Vader runs the place. It's running on provincial funding, tapping into a purse of $6.3 million a year for the next 3 years.
We're doing what we can with that money, and it sounds like a lot when you really think about it, but when you are trying to support a rotation of 300 people, it's not a lot.
This place is only open during the day, and if people are not inside, they have to be completely off the property.
The unfortunate piece of it is that they end up in people's faces.
I've had open my door and there's someone that's on drugs or something like that, basically acting irate, screaming and shouting. You ask them to move and they'll scream at you like, I'll stab you or something like that.
I was walking my dog, she came up to me and she said, you look like an effing fascist. And then she said, I should punch your face in. I should smash your face in. I'm gonna kill you.
How does that whole situation you described leave you feeling?
Frightened, vulnerable, scared, not heard by City Hall. You know, they're saying it's not our problem, it's the government's problem. Then they'll say it's the police problem. Then the police will say it's the city's problem. Okay, what are we supposed to do?
These are all questions that end up right on the mayor's doorstep.
What do you say to people who have that criticism?
So what do you do with them? Where do you have a drop-in? Where do you have a shelter? Where do you have a warming center? Do you say we're not going to have a warming center? Is that humane to say that you're going to stay out in the winter? And you know, where do you feed them? Or a drop-in center? You have to have that in your community with that many people. If you shut that all down, then where does that put them? They're not going to move out of town. That's people that are living here. The people that have born and raised here are on the streets.
Where does responsibility lie for the issues that your town has seen?
It goes back to the province again. When you look at, you know, what are the issues? It's mental health, which is totally provincial. It's housing, and it's homelessness, and that's all under the provincial mandate.
You know, you may have just interrupted a hand-to-hand or a deal.
But on Belleville streets, it comes down to compassion and enforcement. Erin's policing instincts are always on high alert.
Right now, I'm watching this car that's coming up. So you see this guy here, he's whistling. He's letting everyone know police are in the area.
Ryan and I stopped to talk to everyone who will speak to us.
We're told
You can't sit here, you can't sit there, you can't sit
But
anywhere.
this time, it feels different. Behind our camera, Aaron's having an intense conversation with his partner. He just spotted a red flag.
Okay. I'll take the bag.
No,
Yeah.
mine. No, it is hers. My bag. My backpack. You're not. Excuse me. It is her bag. It's my
She has the
backpack.
bag
It's her bag.
on.
Okay, well.
It's her bag.
Okay, whatever.
I will be taking her property
Okay,
with
this
her.
is hers. Are you being serious? We're gonna just tell me from
Yeah, you are. It's an endorsed warrant, so it's just for failed to attend for prints. We're gonna get you in there. You know why you're under arrest? So that's how things happen, right? You're walking the beat, and then next thing you know, you see someone who's has a, what's seen as a minor warrant. And then once you get to, searching people, you end up finding quantities of drugs. In this case, there was a pretty a significant amount of some coke, some fentanyl, and some crack. 1/10 of a gram of fentanyl is like sort of a normal amount to use. There was just over 30 grams of fentanyl there. So a considerable amount.
How much of a dent do you think you made on the supply of fentanyl here in town?
I maybe interrupted half a day's worth of use, in that general vicinity or in that general area. There's where there is a desire for drugs, there will be a supplier.
So why keep doing it?
It's amazing to see people turn their lives around. It's not super common we're getting it anymore, I would say, but it's the, 0.5%. That's what keeps you going.
And in Aaron's case, a really personal connection.
I had a brother who passed away as a result of some complications from drug use. This job does have a place in my heart. Oh, man.
I'm so sorry, man. Aaron didn't want to dwell on that too much, but he knows it's about more than just him. Everyone's out there looking for answers, and from where he stands, it's about a lot more than just a drop-in center. It's about systems that are broken, healthcare, justice, and bail. And until those are fixed, he says guys like him are just going to be out there patching up the holes.
New money is coming in. In February, the federal government committed $10.5 million through the Federal Housing Accelerator Fund to create more affordable housing in Belleville. Titan submersible passengers are describing a troubling voyage just days before the disaster, exactly 2 years ago today.
When they heard this loud bang, there should have been all stop, do not continue.
The clear warning that went unanswered. Years since the deadly Titan implosion. A film co-produced by CBC's The Nature of Things investigates the critical signs of impending disaster.
We heard a loud crack, which sounded like the ship breaking apart.
What happened on Dive 80 and why those warnings were ignored. Anthony Morgan, co-host of CBC's The Nature of Things, shows us the moment the sub's fate was sealed.
The following year, Alfred Hagen finally got the chance to fulfill his dream.
It was one of those moments where you embrace the possibilities, you embrace the unknown, and you find that you're in that moment, you're living a life trembling with joy. That's the essence of what I felt.
Platform clear line, we'll get you in place. Titan is a go for a dive to the Titanic. Unlocked. We're unlocked. Okay.
I remembered how passionate we were at that moment, how excited I was to see this iconic shipwreck and to go deeper than I'd ever gone before, I'd ever imagined.
Oh my God, that's it, yeah.
We're just on it now, above here.
Oh yeah.
That's the funnel number 1.
We're gonna slowly start taking it out.
The trip ended with an alarming noise.
can't see the surface almost. When we were ascending in the Titan, we were actually fairly close to the surface, as I remember, and we heard a loud crack, which sounded like the ship breaking apart. But it was very loud, it was very dramatic, and everyone sat up and like, what was that? And it was certainly concerning because we didn't understand what it was.
We will now hear virtual testimony from Miss Antonella Wilby, former Ocean Gate contractor. Ms. Wilby, can you hear us?
I can.
Thank you for your time today. Ms. Wilby, we appreciate it.
Yeah, I was really impressed that Ms. Wilby contacted us, and said, hey, I'm willing to go on the record in a very high-profile setting, and gave us some really critical testimony.
So as I understand it, you were present during Dive 80 on July 15th, 2022, where a loud bang was heard upon surfacing. Am I correct?
Yes.
Can you please tell me in detail about what you know about that dive?
I wanted to say something before the next dive because they were going to be diving the sub a couple days later.
After Dive 80, one of the customers had said, I heard a bang. And I heard that and I was just like shocked. I brought up the possibility of delamination and I asked him, are you gonna keep diving the sub? And he said, yeah, we'll do the next mission and then we'll visually inspect it when we get back.
Delamination is essentially a parting of the carbon fiber. When they heard this loud bang, there should have been all stop, do not continue, investigate further.
FRC, we see them now for 9 o'clock, about 450 meters out.
I was just shocked. Like, you don't need to be a composites expert to see that and think, okay, maybe we need to step back and stop the operation until we figure out what this actually means.
So the purple you see here, this is the acoustic data that was found or heard on Dive 80. This purple line, there was a loud bang. There is this huge amplitude. Their system said there has been a fundamental change in the material of your carbon fiber, and it was no longer structurally sound.
It's an open book here. Do you have any questions about what's going on, about carbon fiber problems we had, rumors of problems we had, actual problems we had? When we got to the surface, Scott was piloting, he heard a really loud bang. Not a soothing sound, no. But on the surface, and as Tim and PH will attest, almost every deep diving sub makes a noise at some point.
And basically, it's like, pay attention to this, pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. We're gonna work on to talk about all these different little things. No one actually notices, wait a second, like, there's a bigger problem here. It felt like watching like some really bizarre surrealist movie or something. Sort of like, what's the old story, the emperor has new clothes, right? And only one person is saying, wait a second.
That's it, let's go.
And what we have come to the conclusion was there was a delamination on Dive 80 upon surfacing at 2:46 p.m. local time. Everyone that stepped on board the Titan after Dive 80 was risking their life.
You can watch the full documentary, Implosion, the Titanic Sub Disaster, on CBC Gem and The Nature of Things on the YouTube channel now. Up next, 2 cows say, I moo.
It was, proper wedding. There was an aisle, there was a honeymoon suite, even a cake.
Their one-of-a-kind wedding in our moment. They're looking at 2 Highland cows having a very unusual wedding ceremony at a place aptly named Utterly Ridiculous Farm Life. That wedding was officiated by Cheryl Haskett, who pulled out all the stops. And tonight, we're milking this bovine love story for all it's worth in our moment.
I now pronounce the 2 of you, cow and bull. You may lick noses.
When we brought Muriel home, I figured she really needed a boyfriend. We would sometimes walk Muriel. They would come to the gate and nuzzle. He would call after her when she left. We knew it was a good match. Groom was Rhett. He had his beautiful kilt. She had a wedding dress on, and we had a florist who was able to make headdresses. It was, you know, proper wedding. There was an aisle, there was a honeymoon suite, even a cake. We did have a flower girl, and her name was Queen Victoria. I was actually the officiant. It went off without a hitch. They did really well. Rhett put on a really great show.
Stand protectively beside her when when the storm's rolling, yes.
People came dressed for the occasion. Many of them had met and known both of these cows from youngsters right on up. So it very much was like a family affair. And the cows obviously had a great time.
And apparently the married couple is taking well to married life. And word is they're hoping to have a baby in the very near future. And there could even be a baby shower. How moving. Thank you for being with us. You can watch anywhere, anytime on the free CBC News app or subscribe to the National's YouTube channel. I'm Erica Johnson in Vancouver. Take care.